everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. I wasn't planning on coming on here so early on a Monday morning, depending on where you are, but things happen and here I am, so hopefully I won't be on here too long, but I did want to do my Sunday video, which is now going to become a early Monday morning video about the NCAA March Madness tournament. By the way, if you come on here live, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Hello there, Marcus. Glad to have you here. But we are down to the Final Four in the world of college basketball. Saturday, Florida defeated Texas Tech 84-79, and Duke beat Alabama by 20, 85-65. Hey there, Paisley. Glad to have you here. And then Sunday, Houston beat Tennessee 69-50, and Auburn beat Michigan State 70-64. So we have Florida, Duke, Houston, and Auburn. 4 number 1 seeds are the Final Four. Now, that's something you don't see a lot. Usually, just about every year, at least one of them loses. It's usually 2 or more, but just about every year, at least one of them gets beat. And Paisley, I am glad you stopped in. I really appreciate it. So you don't always see all 4 number 1 seeds. But I've talked about this before, and I heard somebody talk about it a couple of weeks ago. But, I never have understood why people enjoy seeing the teams like, we had George Mason one year. Hey there, Weston. Glad to have you here, and I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Hey there, Ryland. Glad to have you here as well. Weston, I believe it's the first time I've seen you and Ryland's name in the comment section, if I'm correct. And it's y'all's first times here. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. But I never have understood why people get excited when teams like George Mason, and then a couple years ago we had, I think, Illinois, Chicago, I believe was their name, and the Cinderella stories. I'm not talking about Gonzaga. Gonzaga's a tournament team every year. When you're a tournament team every year and a Sweet 16 team just about every year, that's not a Cinderella story. I'm talking about a true Cinderella story. Thank you, Weston. I'm glad you like my Clemson hat. I appreciate that. Because, yes, it's good to see George Mason, pull some upsets and make a run. Same way with Illinois, Chicago. But we all know that those teams are not winning a national championship. It's just not going to happen. I did not go to Clemson, Killjoy. I'm just a fan. And Paisley, I'm glad you like basketball. But it's good to see those teams like that pull off upsets, but they're not winning a national championship. It's just not going to happen. So when you take a Cinderella story like that and you put them in the tournament and they make a deep run like that, the longer they go in the tournament, the worse it makes the tournament, in my opinion, because if George Mason is playing in the Final Four, whatever team they're playing is going to beat them. They're not winning. So you've already pretty much given away one of the games because the opponent for George Mason wins that game. So you might as well pencil that team in for a national championship. So to me, why do you want that? Why do you want a team to go that deep in the tournament just to watch them take the place of a team that could be there that actually would have a legit shot of winning a national championship. You have an interesting household. Two brothers went to Georgetown, another went to Ohio State. All three played basketball. Well, that's a fun story, Killjoy. I did not go to college anywhere. I absolutely hated school, despised school, couldn't stand school, wanted to quit school when I was in fifth grade, and my mama wouldn't let me. I hated school. From fourth grade on, I could not stand school. So I always said, if I ever get through high school, I'm not going to any extra schooling. Why would I go torture myself 4 more years? So I didn't go to college anywhere, never had any intention to. But I've been a Clemson fan since I was 11 years old. And I love to hear stories like that because, oh, you're failing geometry. Well, Paisley, I'm sure that whatever your grade is probably better than what my grade would be because I was terrible at geometry. I was absolutely awful at it. So unfortunately, I wouldn't be any kind of help at all. But I like hearing stories like that, Killjoy, because growing up in Georgia, for some reason, most of my family didn't watch sports, but they had this stupid, idiotic idea that since you live in Georgia, you should be a Georgia fan. And it made me just absolutely despise Georgia with every ounce of my being. I cannot stand Georgia to this day for that reason. So I never have understood the philosophy of, well, since you live in a certain spot, you should pull for a certain team. No, there's no rules in sports. You pull for who you want to pull for. Now, I do believe you should be a true fan. You shouldn't pull for a team as long as they're winning, and then when they start sucking, pull for somebody else. That's wrong. But as long as you've got a team that you pull for, whether they're good or bad, I don't give a darn if you live in Florida and you pull for Oregon. Oregon should be your team. There's not no rule or law that says you got to pull for a team in what state you live in. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. But if you ever been to Georgia and seen how most folks there's IQ's about 12, then that don't surprise you. People being that stupid. But that always got on my nerves all my life growing up. So I like hearing stories of people that pull for different teams, whoever that may be. And a 53, Paisley's probably better than what I could be getting currently in geometry. And I was actually, Killjoy, having a discussion earlier on Facebook. People were asking about, basically say, you're a Georgia fan, but you don't like Georgia Tech because they're your rival, so you're not supposed to like them. But then you've got people that say, well, if it's a sporting event and Georgia's not in it, you should pull for Georgia Tech because they're also in Georgia. Why? That's your rival. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. And they were saying the same thing about Clemson and South Carolina. Like, if you're a Clemson fan, I'm not pulling for South Carolina girls basketball just because Clemson's not there. South Carolina is still my rival. So how could an outside fan tell me that I should pull for South Carolina because they're in South Carolina? As a Clemson fan, you're not supposed to pull for South Carolina. As a Georgia fan, you ain't supposed to pull for Georgia Tech. But most sports fans are stupid, so they say things like that. Try living in Ohio and not being an Ohio State fan. I went to Cornell, so our team sucked. Honestly, really, truly, if I lived in Ohio, I might not be an Ohio State fan, just like living in Georgia, not being a Georgia fan, because I like being different. I like standing out in a crowd. To me, it's too simple and boring and repetitive to pull for Georgia because you live in Georgia, or to pull for the Buckeyes because you live in Ohio, because everybody around you is also going to be a Buckeye fan. Stand out from the crowd. Pull for somebody different. Be different. That way, on game day, you've got more than one team to talk about. You don't want to sit around and spend an 8-hour shift wherever you work at talking Ohio State. Now you can talk Ohio State and then, whatever your team is. So if I lived in Ohio, I probably wouldn't be an Ohio State fan because everybody else is. And I like being different, which is why I live in Georgia and I am a Clemson fan. So this year we don't have any of the Cinderella stories. We have the four number one seeds. And if you watch the channel, you know that when the tournament started, I said I thought there was 8 teams that I thought had a legit chance of winning the national championship, and 3 of them are still left. That's Auburn, Duke, and Florida. I did not have Houston on my list, and I actually gave the reasoning behind that. And the reason is basically is the same reason why I didn't have Tennessee on my list. You know, Rick Barnes has coached for 900 years and never won a national championship. So until Rick Barnes proves to me he can win one, I'm never going to pick Tennessee or any other team he coaches to win a national title because he's their coach. That's why I left Houston off. Kelvin Sampson's been coaching since dinosaurs walked the earth, and he's good every year and does good every year. But come tournament time, he fizzles out. Well, I'm the kind of person to where I don't believe it till I see it. Until Kelvin Sampson proves to me he can win a national championship, I'm never going to pick his team to win it all. Now, watch this year be the year Houston sneaks up and wins it, but that's why I left them off the list because Kelvin Sampson has been coaching since dinosaurs walked the earth and does good every year, and then come tournament time, he fizzles out. Killjoy said his cousin was the highest scoring Buckeye in basketball, David Lightly Jr. He is in France now playing basketball. You are still not a Buckeye fan. I completely understand. But you know, I'm a Clemson fan, but I'm only a Clemson fan when they're at Clemson. What I mean by that is, hey there in the sticks woodworking. Glad you're here. And I have not seen that in the sticks. What I mean by that, Killjoy, is I'm a Clemson fan and I pull for Clemson in every sport: football, basketball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, volleyball. If Clemson's got a sport, that's what I pull for. But once these athletes graduate or leave, whatever, I don't just pull for them because they went to Clemson. Like you have so many people. Hey there, Jeff. Glad to have you here. So many people that, especially like college football fans, if their, favorite team, whoever it is, if their favorite player off their college team goes to the NFL, they will then start pulling for that team or that player because they went to their college, whatever their college is. I don't do that. I am fantastic, Jeff. Thank you for asking. Every day is a good day. In my opinion, no such thing as a bad day. There are bad moments in every day, but a bad moment doesn't make a bad day. We let bad moments create bad days, but thank you for asking. But a lot of people, they will pull for NFL team because, their quarterback from their college is their team now. I don't do that. I like you when you're at Clemson. When you go to the NFL, if you don't play for the team I like, I don't wish you luck. But I'm not going to start pulling for your team because your team's quarterback now went to Clemson. I'm not doing that. I don't have any dogs, Jeff, but thank you for asking. We had one, but we no longer have one. That's okay because my wife and I have 3 kids, so we stay very, very, very busy, and probably in the grand scheme of it, wouldn't have time to occupy and keep a dog company. So as of right now, I don't have any dogs. Maybe in the future when the kids get bigger, I'll have one. But right now, there ain't enough hours in the day for me to keep a dog busy and occupied. So I don't have any dogs, but thank you for asking. But like right now, Deshaun Watson was one of the best quarterbacks, according to some, the best quarterback Clemson ever had. But he goes to the NFL. I didn't become a Browns fan because they've got Deshaun Watson. Matter of fact, I've said on here since about August that Deshaun Watson, he's retired. He's done. He's toast. He's embarrassing. He looks awful. And he's making himself look worse every single day he plays because he is absolutely terrible. But, he was great at Clemson, and I'm glad he was. But I'm not going to be a Browns fan just because they've got Deshaun Watson. Because there's so much talent now at Clemson in football that there's just about a Clemson player on every single NFL team. So what am I going to do? Pull for every team? No. I pull for my team and my team only. Once you leave Clemson, if you don't go to my team, I don't care what you do. But that's just me. Everybody's outlook is completely different. That's just the way I look at things. Good friend from, I guess that means high school, James Cotton, played for Ohio State and went to the NFL. Not sure what teams, but he was a really cool guy. 50 years old and still looks 35. And Jeff said he has a baby Chihuahua. He's got 3 dogs, but the reason why we got 3 dogs is because we have to get with a shadow, the black lab. Oh, okay. And I tell you, Jeff, if I had a dog, it would not be a Chihuahua because they just bark way too much. I can't handle the barking. I have to have a quiet dog that only barks if something's wrong, and Chihuahuas bark when the sun comes up, and I can't handle that. That drives me absolutely up the wall. It's raining, I'm gonna bark. It's dark, I'm gonna bark. The sun came out, I'm gonna bark. You're home, I'm gonna bark. I can't do that. That drives me absolutely up the wall. No one should be a Browns fan. You're about right, Killjoy. They've been so bad for so long. Honestly, I'm surprised they have any fans at all because it's obvious the fans they have are loyal fans because they have been awful for basically 20 years. So the fans they have are true dedicated fans because they're sticking around. They're not changing teams, but they have been awful for a long time. But Deshaun Watson was really, for the most part, in my personal opinion, bad before he got there because his last year with the Texans, he wasn't any good, but he has been absolutely just brutally, embarrassingly, awfully bad with the Browns, and I would have cut him last year. I don't care what he makes. He's a waste of a roster spot, a waste of space, a waste of talent, and no matter what you're paying the guy, he sucks. So would you rather pay him and cut him to be off your team or pay him to make you lose games or pay him to ride the bench? Either way, you got to pay him. He ain't worth playing. I'd have cut the guy a long time ago. He was good at Clemson, but he sucks now. You have a client that comes up from Mexico to watch them. Even Sports Illustrated did an article on him. Just look up Mexican comes to Cleveland for games. Good to hear, Killjoy. I believe this is the first time I've seen your name in the comment section. If so, I'm glad you are here. Thank you for taking the time of your day to watch Ref Brandon and the Todd Family on YouTube. And speaking of the Todd Family, hopefully you'll be seeing some of them in the next couple of days. We are leaving here in about 4 or 5 hours to go on vacation, only going for a couple of days. We're coming back home on Wednesday, but I'm going to try my best to get them to all get together and do a video. It's been a long time since I've had the Todd Family on here. It's been just yours truly for what seems like forever now. So hopefully I can do a video with them over the next couple of days. If not, I'm on vacation and I will be back. But thanks for all the ones that came on here tonight. And if you are new here, hopefully you will subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Give the video a like, a thumbs up, and share the video on all social media platforms. And Killjoy, I can't tell you how excited I am because we have not been on vacation since 2021 in September of 21. So right at 3.5 years. So if I just go up there and sit on the motel patio and drink sweet tea for 3 days, I'll be happy because we have not been away. And Marcus, thank you so much. So even though it's not going to be a full vacation, it's get away for a couple days. I'll take it. The kids are out of school for spring break, so got to get them away for a while, keep them occupied, keep them busy, so they don't make them pull our hair out here at home. But sometimes you just got to have a family trip and just get away. So we're going just me, my beautiful, lovely bride, and our 3 kids going. And as I said, be back on Wednesday. So not a full week, just time to get away and unbutton, unwind, make the world go away, and just have some good family fun for a couple of days. Don't drink too much sweet tea. Don't want you taking a vacation just to get diabetes. That's funny, Killjoy. It's funny you say that because people give me a hard time all the time. Killjoy, and by the way, I have not told you yet, but for all the new people here, I'm just as nice on Facebook as I am on here. I talk to everybody. So if you ever want to message me on Facebook, feel free to message me on Facebook. I'll talk to you on there as well. I'm not one of those folks that gets on here and tries to get views by talking on YouTube and then get on Facebook and ignore you. I don't do that. You can message me on Facebook and I'll talk to you on there as well. Just tell me who you are, because if by some chance your name is different on Facebook, I'm going to say, who is this? So just tell me who you are, but I'll talk to you on there as well. It can be about sports or life in general. But Killjoy, it's funny you say that because people give me a hard time about that all the time because, I don't drink at all. Never have. Alcohol to me smells like horse piss, so there's no danger in me ever drinking it. But people always tell me that sweet tea is my alcohol of choice. If I could get drunk on sweet tea, I'd be drunk every day of the week. I love sweet tea. Luckily, I have no health issues at all because I can't imagine a world without sweet tea. So, Killjoy, it's funny you say that because I love sweet tea. If sweet tea ever become a drug, I would be in jail for drug use. That's how much I love my sweet tea. But let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. This happened a long time ago. One time at the academy, they had a group of us watch the Earth rotate from space. Then they said, "Did you see anything interesting?" No. After 24 hours, we got bored and called it a day. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.